This is Jordan Tower with JT News. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. Well, Math Hoffa podcast has, I don't know if it's over, but they're just breaking up. Okay, so he's saying funny how these guys are saying everything except we violated our contract. Esso and some other guy, I forget his name, they left the podcast, started their own podcast. I already kind of knew this was going to happen because there was 10 people on that podcast. And, I like Math Hoffa a lot. He's a good guy. I don't know him personally so much, but we've talked through, just through messages. I have a respect for his craft as a battle rapper, and I like the stuff he's talking about on his podcast. So I'll let him know. I like this, man. But anyways, I kind of knew this was going to happen because whenever I've seen a group of people come together, 10 people, even 4 people, even 2 people, people get jealous of the money and everything. Now, this is on Math Hoffa's personal YouTube channel. It's called My Expert Opinion, okay? They've had big guests on there now, Fat Joe, Joe Budden, DJ Clue, so many people, and so many interesting conversations. Method Man was one of the early ones. And they've had great conversations, and I've thoroughly enjoyed the podcast. But I knew it was going to break up because you had too many people involved on the podcast. And once the money started rolling in, once people start seeing 10 million views a month, 15 million views a month, a lot of money is being generated. If Math Hoffa pulled up in a new whip, had new clothes on or whatever, people were going to start looking it's just had the nature of having too many people involved in one thing. I thought it was rich that Joe Budden was giving Math Hoffa advice when he just blew up his own podcast just 2 years ago. that was crazy to me because I was and Joe Budden was on there, well, just give more money if it's about money. Just give him this. It's Joe, you blew up your own podcast. You blew up your own podcast, and you started with those guys early. When the money came in, it was good for a minute, then another deal for a re-up, and things were different. I don't think Math Hoffa did anything wrong. Sometimes people think they're worth more than what Math is worth. Math is really the leader of the podcast. He kind of coordinates everything, and it feels like he's the leader, and should it all be equal? Probably not, because there's too many. There's 10 people, and not everybody can be the leader, and that gets all the money. It's hard. There was one way to really go about this. The guys, here's the guys, Heineken and Esso. They have their own podcast now. And he said, that's crazy. Watching the last few episodes, I was asking myself where y'all are at, especially the energy on the Yayo episode. How energy looked. If y'all wasn't on the show, it definitely wouldn't have been as interesting. Y'all way better than Misfit and the other dude. That's the reason I'm here too. What would have been best is if Math, it's hard to structure things like this, but the best thing would be is to have everybody have their own spin-offs of a podcast, right? But have the main podcast, and then under that podcast have mini podcasts. That's kind of the only way to make it work. Or everybody does their own thing and comes together on one thing. I don't know. It's just, it's hard. It's hard because everyone wants to be a part of the main thing that's working. But that's the only way I could see things working. So Math will be fine on his own. The other guys will be fine on their own. It was a good podcast. In a world where there's too many podcasts, this podcast was great. If that makes any sense. That's a compliment. Because there's too many podcasts and too many people. This is how hip-hop is. Once one thing is working, it's like when I shot videos. Everybody was shooting videos. After you make it look easy. Once you start doing podcasting, I'm not the first one to do it, but I started early. This is podcasting. Everybody starts doing it because, look, Fat Joe's doing it now. He's a rapper, but you know what? Rap's not working for Fat Joe anymore. Look, a lot of rappers are getting into this that just like, can't rap anymore, my G? I'm not talking about Math Hoffa because I think he's different. I'm talking about big rappers, doing this. Yeah, we can all say, oh yeah, everybody's shooting. No, some people, everybody, like when Core Mega went independent, everybody laughed at him at first, and now everybody's independent. It's like, it's the nature of this game specifically that is hard. That's why I do other stuff outside of hip hop because, I love hip hop. I love rap. I did it for free in the beginning. That's how much I love it. And I feel like when you're doing it for free in the beginning, you're doing it because you love it. And then you find a way to make money doing it. Some people get into it just for the money. Again, I'm not talking about anybody on here. I'm just talking about other people like hipsters at Complex, Anyways, this is Jordan Tower with JT News. I'll check you guys later. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Peace.